From building dams to having underwater bedrooms, beavers have some pretty impressive skills. But when it comes to communicating with each other, they take it to a whole new level. That's because beavers have their own version of a walkie-talkie. They use it to stay in touch with each other while they busy building their lodges or searching for food. And even though they can't talk to us yet, scientists are starting to figure out what these little chatty critters are saying to each other. Hi, I'm your host, and this is my channel. The secret language of beavers was actually discovered by accident. In the early 1960s, Canadian wildlife biologists were studying moose in Algonquin Provincial Park when they heard some strange noises. At first they thought it was a loon, a kind of diving bird that makes a yodeling sound. But then they realized it was coming from underground. When they pulled out a log, they found a beaver lodge right underneath. They recorded the sounds and played them back for a wildlife biologist who knew the call as well as a beaver trapper. Both of them said it sounded like a beaver whistle. And even though the recordings were made in 1962, it wasn't until 1984 that scientists really started to decode these calls. It turns out beavers have different calls for different situations. For example, there's a territorial call that says, "Hey, this is my home turf," and another one that basically means danger. Danger. In 1990, researchers recorded an alarm call in the wild for the first time. One scientist was sitting in a blind by a pond in northern Wisconsin when he heard a series of high-pitched peeps coming from a nearby beaver lodge. He saw a bald eagle fly over and land on a tree branch near the pond. Then he watched as two beavers came out of the lodge, ran up the same tree, and started making those peeps. After the third peep, the beavers disappeared into the tree and the eagle flew away. Scientists think the peeps may warn other beavers that there's a predator nearby, so they can all work together to scare it away. Even more recently, in 2020, scientists used a network of motion sensors and cameras to record a never-before-seen behavior. This footage showed beavers using a graded log as a highway to their lodge. When they arrived at the lodge, the beavers inside started making a new sound, which the researchers described as a low-pitched rumble. It is possible that this sound is how beavers let each other know that it is safe to come inside. All of these discoveries were made without teaching the beavers anything. Scientists just observed and recorded them doing their thing in the wild, but now they want to teach beavers some new tricks. In order to better understand their language, researchers have started to play recorded beaver calls in enclosures at zoos and in private wildlife sanctuaries. That way they can observe groups of beavers interacting with each other while listening to the calls. So far, they've taught beavers to associate certain calls with certain foods, and in 2023, they published a paper about teaching beavers to respond to a novel call. Essentially, the team wanted to see if beavers could learn a brand new word. In this case, it was a nonsense syllable, kind of like bleep. In their paper, they describe how they played the bleating noise paired with a visual cue like a blue collar or a blue cloth. Over time, the beavers started associating the sound with the color blue. Eventually, the beavers would come running when they heard the sound, no matter what the visual cue was. This means that beavers can not only understand language, but they can even learn a new word that has no meaning in their natural environment. Although we still don't know exactly what every beaver call means, it's clear that beavers have a lot more to say than we ever imagined. Thanks for watching! To learn more about secret animal languages, check out the link below. And if you want to support our channel, you can join our community on a crowdfunding platform.